did a lot of work with this school community over time to determine what was going to be the best appropriate long-term solution for Park Road Montessori, because we all know we love our building, we love our campus, but the building is beyond the end of its useful life. It's too small, and we cannot continue to operate and maintain it. So we worked with this community to determine a path forward, and what was ultimately decided was a relocation to a converted Sedgefield Elementary School. And so that was put into the 2023 General Obligation Bond Referendum, and that bond referendum was adopted. So we have the plan, now we have the funding, and so we're starting to execute on that plan that we arrived at together as a community. And so with that, we wanted to give you the opportunity to participate in a project kickoff meeting in person. This is our first real in-person project kickoff meeting since COVID. We went to a hybrid sort of platform for most of those, but we're getting back into an in-person opportunity and the chance to actually come and walk the halls and see the future home of Sedgefield Montessori, recognizing that it's not in its final state. This is where we're starting, but this is an opportunity to get in, meet the teams, get some questions answered, and take a look around. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Alan Hunter, and he's going to go from there.
Thank you, Dennis. Welcome to the future of Sedgefield Montessori. This is very exciting. Glad to see you all here tonight. We had a brief agenda. I'm going to go through a presentation on some of the improvements that we're going to be doing to the school here to convert it into a Montessori program. Move on to the team here. We'll go back over to the team again. I'm Alan Hunter with WHN Architects. We are the contracted designers for this project. And of course, we have the team from CMS that's introduced, and then we have Van Oy McFarland that's part of our team too for construction. So, moving on, these first couple slides will just get you oriented. This is the Dilworth Elementary campus. We've got the main entrance here, bus parking lot back here. We're in about here. Go ahead, we've got the floor plan. So then in the floor plan, we've got the main entrance here, we're in the media center here, the admin area, and then these are what we call the wings: C wing, D wing, and E wing. I'm sorry, we're back here in the dining room. We're back over here. So move ahead. We'll talk about some of the site amenities that we have here. Keep you oriented. Everybody with me. I'm playing a little bit. Here's the entrance, media center, bus lots back here. So the first amenities we're going to go over are the playgrounds. There are 3 playgrounds on the campus right now. This one up front is going to get replaced with a new playground. The one back by the J building currently is going to get renovated, it's new, and then the playground up here is also going to get renovated. So at the end, we'll have 3 essentially new renovated playgrounds for the campus. In addition to the playgrounds, we're installing some picnic benches for the Montessori program, so people will be able to get outside. You can have lunch outside. There'll be learning opportunities outside. And in addition to that, we're going to install planter boxes that will be right in this general area here, so that all the classes can have a horticultural experience outdoors. We're also going to be relocating some elements from the Park Road Elementary. That includes the gazebo that's going to get reinstalled. There's also some memorial pavers that will be there. And that will be back in this general area where the J building is going to be demolished. And then we'll put back this new peace garden, gazebo, and the planter. So the peace garden is another element of that. We're going to relocate the Montessori statue and again bring in some pavers and the plantings that go along with the Montessori program for the site. Moving back inside the building, the whole school is going to get a refresh and rebrand, but there's 3 major areas where we're doing renovations. We're going to be renovating the administration area and then adding 2 life skills classrooms at the end of the D wing and the E wing. So zooming into, this is the administration area, this is the main entrance here. So we're going to rework this so that there's now going to be a secure vestibule. So visitors can come in here, check in at the office, go through the pass-through window, and then they come into the reception area, they're inside the school, and then students, you can meet your kids, or go back out into the main campus once they've cleared security. Teachers and staff, but all these doors would stay open for students to come in the morning, and then doors for egress to in the afternoons. We're going to reconfigure the reception area a little bit, rotate the desks so that when you come in, you're received at the door from your vestibule, rework the parent center a little bit, and new finishes in that area. In the life skills classrooms, we're going to be reorienting those classrooms to move the teaching wall to one side so that we make room for Montessori life skills portions that include a kitchen area and a laundry area. So you can see we'll have a basic kitchen, new sinks, new appliances, and then a laundry area that seems that the students can experience all that. So all those rooms will get all new finishes in there. This is a general schedule of what we have planned. Right now we're in design and permitting. That will go through about through the end of March, roughly. And then we're going to start demolition of the J building out back there throughout the summer. That's going to run in parallel with some of the primary site work that's going on around the building, some corrections we got, and then some of the installations of the relocated work and those kind of things. And then there'll be some minor renovations this summer inside the main building. Then we kind of have a jump over to summer 2025 where we're going to finish off all the site work and the renovations inside the building with the life skills classrooms and the vestibules. That's most of the design elements that are coming in here. Is that new doors? Yes. There's some other things too. We didn't get into all the details, but yeah, we're installing new doors into all the D and E wing classrooms so that they can have access to get outside, use those nice big cables to get out to the planning boxes and all the Montessori programs that are incorporated.
So there won't be like a kitchen in each classroom like there is now, or that kitchen setup that we have? There won't be that kitchen setup that we have now like in our classroom. It'll just be those two at the end.
Those two will be the full-size operating kitchens. So the appliances will be functioning and all that stuff.
Sorry, I'll jump in a little bit too. So it will be very similar to what the classrooms have now, which is like a countertop area with a sink, and then some of the teachers bring in like, there might be like a mini fridge or what you would consider a kitchen area, but what he's talking about is like a full, like the kitchen that we have up in the upper elementary rooms, where it's like a full classroom that is only a kitchen, but there will be like a little countertop area with a sink.
Hi, I'm Rebecca. I have a 7-year-old at Park Road. And I have two questions, just to follow that. I've been told that there will not be kitchen sinks in the classroom anymore, that there'll just be the small bathroom sinks. Currently, we have the bathroom sinks and a kitchen sink with a full width of the classroom countertop area. Is that changing? Do we have kitchen sinks or not?
This, what we will have is that all the classrooms right now, I don't know if you've seen the classrooms yet, you are correct. You will not have like what you might have in your kitchen currently, a full depth sink. It is a hand washing sink that we use in every classroom. That is currently there today.
And is there a possibility for having a similar kitchen to what we have now, or is that past the point?
Well, what you're asking is can we change the sink to the classrooms today? I mean, that's how we would have to achieve that. That would really ask to some degree.
We've been working with the staff very closely over time to collect the wish list and the scope of the project appropriately, and so that's not been a formal ask that's been made to us, but it's something we can absolutely take.
Yeah, I just want to give feedback as a parent volunteer for the last 3 years that the kitchen areas with the sinks are so vital to the Montessori program because of the practical life elements, because of dishwashing, preparing their snack, cooking, the knitting programs we do. I mean, all the crafting we do. That back full width counter area with a full-size sink in the classroom, because going out to a separate kitchen just isn't going to give the practical life experience that we have now. My second question was about the name. Is that over, or?
Last night, the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Board of Education voted as part of their consent agenda to name this Sedgefield Montessori. That was adopted unanimously by the Board of Education. That's a board process that has nothing to do with the construction project, but the board did formally adopt that as the name for the school.
So we all know it's going to be getting a lot hotter, it's getting hotter earlier, and this campus has many fewer trees than our other campus had. Are there plans for shade structures outside so the kids can get some cover and still go outside when it's hot?
That's something we are absolutely evaluating as part of the project, whether it's around the picnic tables or around the playgrounds themselves. So that's something that we're looking at. And again, we'll have the same opportunity as well to establish and enrich the tree canopy here as we have at Park Road. I mean, this campus was new in 2002, so substantially cleared at that point. But we know we're going to be here for a while, and so we have the opportunity to establish a tree canopy here as well.
Hi, I saw you had some projects that would be completed next summer, so this coming summer. Can you talk about what scope falls into each of those topics?
Sure, so the big deal is there's a whole lot of different pieces and parts to this. So we had the bond vote happen in November. The county doesn't write us a check for the full amount of bond, right? And then there's another step where the local government commission has to actually allow the county to issue the bonds. And they didn't vote on that until February 5th. So we actually got authorization to start spending money really on the bonds in February. So we have been playing catch up relative to the design timeline, the timeline to get materials, things like those doors. They're long lead time things. And so what we said was we wanted to do what we could do to get you in and get you operating this year and take care of the site work and the things, the amenities that we need outside, but not do a lot of invasive work inside. So the focus is on the site this summer, getting you in, and then doing the work to add the kitchens and add the security vestibule, the work that would happen inside the school while the students are out next summer. So we would have enough time and put the doors on the exterior classrooms and all those sorts of things. That way we're not impeding upon the teaching and learning environment. And we got that feedback very clearly from the staff that they would rather have the project sort of bifurcated that way rather than us being disruptive to the learning environment. So we'll be focused on the outside this summer, inside next summer, and then we'll be complete.
Hi, Joe Pettigrew. Thanks for hosting us. A couple of questions. First, what is and I realize y'all may not know the answer to this, current enrollment versus what the enrollment will be once Park Road transitions? And the second question, any idea how carpool will work?
Okay, so first thing is we are not changing the enrollment of Park Road just because of the relocation. So this intent is not to add any more students to Park Road. I mean, to the extent that if there's some additional capacity and we pick up a few more kids, great, but this was not so we could open 10 more classrooms. So recognize that, right? We know that there's demand for this program, but part of the challenge has been that, like a Chantilly has been in a space that's been way too small over time and is not at 500 kids, it's at 200 kids. So we're looking at how we can improve and that was part of the relocation at Trillium Springs. So we pick up seats at Lincoln Heights and at Billingsville for those programs to get them closer to the 500 to 600 student number that we have at Park Road. We think that's ideal then to support the high school, the middle and high school program that would go to Marie G. Davis. So the intent is we have enough kids who stay with the program to make sure the secondary school is sustainable. So it's not about adding more kids here. So I want you to understand that. Relative to the carpool, we will work with the staff and CMS police and the department's transportation to come up with a marshaling plan, and that will get determined based on a variety of different factors, including current car counts and those sorts of things. So we recognize, there will be a plan that will be promulgated. It will probably involve using, coming in off of Marsh maybe, and then coming around and then making a right onto Hartford into the school, and then back out and a right back out onto what was that? Auburn, yeah, and go back out to Marsh that way. So we'll work through what that circulation is, and that'll be shared, but that's something we come up with in concert with the Department of Transportation and the cops.
If you're evaluating shade cover, when can parents expect to hear more about that?
Well, I think as we're working through the design and we know where things are going, it will come down to what we can actually place, because there are pretty significant engineering standards that we have to follow relative to those canopies because of the winds that we do see here. And so you have to make sure that you can actually install the thing and that you get the right rating where you're putting it. So as we're finalizing the site elements, we'll know where it's appropriate to place those and where it's not.
Are the canopies that are already here, are they going to remain here?
I don't believe we're pulling necessarily anything out of here. It's just about whether or not it jives with what we're doing with the new work.
Doors would change that?
Doors could change that, right? Because you got to make sure for code and everything that we've got egress, and so something may be sitting somewhere today where it can't be later. So those are the things that we're going to have to work through as we finalize the design and go through that code analysis and determine if something has to move 6 feet, and if it does, do we want to move that thing 6 feet, or do we want to get a new thing?
So, to backpack onto that, I'm a landscape architect, so this is important to me, and it goes with the Road Montessori theme of that inside-outside accessibility. I think I missed what you said. They will be able to access the outside from their classrooms each?
We're adding doors to all the classrooms that do not have doors to the outside, with the exception of the kitchens, because we need those walls.
And then are there any landscape architects on the design team?
Yes, we've got a landscape architect on the design team. It's been actually.
Okay.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Hey there. My question is about the security measures. There has been a lot of updated technology in that regard. You mentioned the parent entrance, but what else are we getting? And is it the same as what the new schools are getting?
Yeah, so the security vestibule is absolutely what we're putting in all of our new schools. So the security vestibule that's here is the exact same thing that we're putting in every one of our new elementary schools. We don't put evolved scanners or anything like that in the elementary schools. We do just those in K, middle, and high schools. But the vestibule is part of that. There will be a camera upgrade. There will be additional cameras added. We're evaluating fencing and other things because we have this opportunity now that we're not going to be moving outside in the J buildings. That had been a consideration. But now that we know definitively that we're not going to do that, that's going to help us think about how to make sure we're facing the campus the correct way. And that was quite honestly one of the big challenges around placing the exterior doors, because that is compromising the safety and security, so making sure that we've got other elements in place. And there are things that you don't see and you wouldn't know. There's something called crime prevention through environmental design that we use to make sure that we've got the bushes in the right place and they're the right height and the cameras aren't obscured and all of those sorts of things that go into that design that aren't transparent but are actually helping keep the campus safe. Yes.
Hi, I have a question and a comment. So for the question, you spoke about how the plan for adding kitchens, that'll come, if I understand correctly, next summer. I'm also curious about the square footage in the classroom. Is it the same? Is it comparable to what we have today overall? Understanding the counter space might not be the same, but in terms of the overall square footage, is it the same as the current classrooms, or are they smaller? And I ask that because it's more of an observation. I've had a child in this school and then also at Road Montessori, so to me they feel smaller, but maybe, my site assessment isn't accurate, so I'd love to hear that, and then I'll let you answer, and I'll give you the comment as well.
Sure, there's no doubt that some of the classrooms here are smaller than some of the classrooms in Park Road, but we have been through, how many trips, I'm not sure how the staff has made through here, a half dozen now at this point, right, where we've been through and measured and taken all of that into consideration and into stock. And so we do recognize that, yes, the classrooms are a little bit differently sized, but there are other things that this school offers that Park Road doesn't, like the tutor rooms and the pull-out spaces that are there. It's pulled from the classroom, but it allows you to use those spaces differently for small group instruction and other things that you can't do at Park Road today, so that you have these learning space extensions that aren't necessarily captured in the classroom square footage, but in the overall classroom management, I think tie well to the Montessori philosophy, that you've got some stuff going on outside, some stuff in the classroom, some stuff in the small room, some stuff in the hallway, and so you're really spreading out among all those elements.
And then for the comment, this is more about the name. It sounds like the ship has probably sailed, but did the community have an opportunity to be consulted or give feedback on that part of it? And is there any way to revisit it if not?
So to that, I can't speak to that because I did not own that. Dr. Baldwin, our deputy superintendent, managed that process. So that was the agenda items on the consent agenda. Typically, the only way to rehear a motion is if there were no votes, and there were no votes, and this was on the consent agenda, so there was no discussion, so I'm not sure that there is necessarily a path, but I'm also not a parliamentarian, and so I'm not going to say that there isn't a path, but I do know that they did adopt that last night unanimously.
We have a question among our family of the outdoor space for recreation, ultimate, soccer, things like that, when they are able to get out and stretch out a little bit into the beautiful green campus that we have currently. Is there something comparable?
Yes. Go back to the period. So this probably shows the best, but we're demolishing this building and putting back the Peace Garden and the gazebo area and the raised planting beds here. We've got the playground that's going to get renovated here, but from here all the way back to the road, all the way down to Marsh Road, is an open field, and all that's going to be available for playing outdoor playground and sports, all the activities that students need. It's a pretty big deal.
Just to speak to the square footage part, I understand that for older students, especially middle school, it's 45 square feet per student that's required. Now that we're no longer in the J building, how are those needs being met inside of the smaller classrooms in here?
So I would say that's an instructional conversation, a conversation to have with the principal. It's not something from the built environment, anything that the construction or design team would necessarily be involved in. It comes down to school management.
And then the money for the vestibule, that is coming out of the bond package, correct?
All of the work that's being done here is being paid for
So other schools, when they get those vestibules, where will that money come from?
If they're a bond project, that will come out of the bond project, because that's our standard, so that's what we build now.
So only the schools that are part of the bond package will be getting the vestibules?
Currently, yes, we do not have a path to fund vestibules at schools that don't have capital funding. The Board of Education doesn't have taxing or funding authority in the state of North Carolina, so we get about $18 million a year from Mecklenburg County for maintenance, and it costs about $1 per square foot to paint a wall, and we have 23 million square feet. So we don't have a lot of money lying around to just to add vestibules, as important as that is. So we're taking every opportunity we have when we're building a new school or renovating an existing school to install those as a safety and security measure.
Hey, are there going to be any changes to the bill schedule? Is that TBD based on other transportation needs?
So transportation runs the bell schedule, and that's something they evaluate every year. In honesty, they look at every school's bell schedule. I think actually with Sedgefield and Dilworth being together in one site and not having to double bus the same household, I think there's going to be a little bit of room for evaluation here. But there's nothing about this move that necessarily changes the bell schedule. So just understand that the move and the bell schedule, those two things aren't intertwined. Transportation makes changes to bell schedules all the time in order to make sure they can be efficient with the buses that they run and the staff that they have to run the buses.
I was just wondering if the teachers have had the chance or will have the chance to see this presentation and they'll be able to give their own feedback.
So the teachers, absolutely, they were invited tonight. They have been to the school multiple times. They have been integral to our planning process for this project. We're getting feedback from them on a weekly basis, sometimes daily, but we are actively engaged with the staff in the plans for the school.
Just one more quick question about planting beds. So are the whole school's planting beds going to be up around that corner, or will the classes have the opportunity? Like now, my daughter's class uses their garden weekly, every Friday for cooking, and would they have the opportunity to go pick some lettuce, or do they have to go out there?
Yeah, they could use these like plant beds. If you're asking about like locating them, we looked at trying to get them closer to the classrooms, but you can't grow a lot of things where there's no sun. So we did use the open field area where we can spread out the planting beds and maximize the growing potential there. So they can go out there and use them and pick their herbs and lettuce.
I just have a question about the slide that's up right now. Is that like indicative of where all the picnic tables are going to be? Or, because I think there's a whole building without picnic tables. I think that's the primary building from what I've heard. Right there. So I'm just curious if they will have access. I know they'll have outside doors, but will they also have picnic tables as well?
We can add some over there. I think there's some opportunities to put some once we fence. We're planning on fencing again this front area a little bit so we can add some more picnic tables for access from those classrooms.
Yeah, hi. This isn't, I'm sure this was answered at some point, but the students that are going to the school currently, where are they going?
So the students that are here are part of the Dilworth school, so they're our parent school. There's the K2, pre-K2 population here today, and grades 3 through 5 are in Dilworth. We are going to put the students that are here back into Dilworth, so Dilworth will be one school, K5 again, and then we will demolish the existing Park Road school and build a new elementary school on that site for that neighborhood school.
So this school will consist of just Park Road?
This school is just going to be the Montessori program. And I don't know if your question was answered well, just so you know, I mean, there's not a lot of sun that gets into those courtyards. And certainly there's an opportunity for planters to go there if they can. We're not ruling that out. We're just concerned about whether or not there's going to be enough light for anything to really grow there.
Hi, so I feel like I ask this question every time. I just want to make sure we're going to have before and after school ASCs at this location too. That's
Yes.
moving. I know it's been able to guess, but
Yes.
it's clear that needs a child to be prepared for 6, something like that. Okay.
Yes.
Just want to double check.
Yes.
I know you've answered some questions in general about the tree canopy. Are you planning to include the type of diversity of species that are currently on our campus, like the different varieties, or is it just going to be like a general planting because everywhere?
So the school has the opportunity to plant things. When we go plant things and we get permits, we get told what's allowable. So the city is doing things pretty aggressively now around trees. And it's not just a quantity thing, it's also a quality thing. So there's a lot of times where we have to surgically remove trees from a thicket or grove because they're the wrong type of trees according to urban forestry. So we pull a permit, we've got to play by a different set of rules relative to what we can plant and where we can plant them. But there's still opportunities for the school community to provide additional plantings.
So truly variety would be up to the school.
Well, you know, if they give us an option to pick from 5 trees, we'll plant all 5 trees. If they tell us there's something magic about this ecosystem where you can only plant something.
You know, there's a beautiful weeping cherry when you go in, there's a giant cypress tree on the site. Like, there's just something special about it.
Absolutely.
I'm looking around before I ask this question. Is there somebody taking notes on what questions and concerns and?
We're recording.
Okay, I didn't know if that was just a live stream or anything, but that will be reflected upon and?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, that was the point for recording.
This is a transportation-related question, particularly for bikers and walkers. As the main artery coming from Park Road is Marsh Road, and just wondering if there's plans for bike lanes, crosswalks, additional stop signs, speed bumps to ensure that those biking or walking have safe access to the back of the school.
So we work with the departments of transportation on those things. We don't own the roads, we don't own the sidewalks, but very often they tell us widen a sidewalk, add a speed bump, put in a stoplight, put in a stop sign. So that's something that we'll work through with them as we go through the permitting process.
That's great, and just that there are a number of bicyclists in particular at the school that would be coming from the Park Road area. So I would just implore you to make sure that we have the proper infrastructure in place.
Absolutely, I definitely appreciate that, and I think you have a city councilman who cares about that a great deal, not on these sides as well, so.
Hey, sorry, just to ask another question about the outdoor environment. When are those plans going to be kind of set in stone? You know, if we wanted to see about maybe moving some planting boxes closer to classrooms, maybe putting some picnic tables by the primary classroom, is there kind of an end date that those decisions would have to be made?
Really, no. I mean, if it's something portable, it can be moved after we move in. If we determine, hey, we want that picnic bench moved 10 feet, we can do that later, right? So I think that we can take that feedback now if there's something actionable today, but this isn't speak now or forever hold your peace, so things like that.
So are these plans available for us to see or is it just this slide? Like, could we see a landscape plan or?
They're still in design, so we haven't finalized all the layouts yet. These are general ideas on where we're going to be putting things that we don't have finalized plans for.
And then the landscape plan would come from you or from Uncle Jeanette?
It'll come from
be going where that demolished building next to the green square is now, and that's the gazebo.
Right, so we're looking at bringing the gazebo over from Park Road Elementary and putting in the pavers, the memorial pavers, the gazebo, as well as the peace garden with the statue, and making a nice layout area for all that with the garden areas.
I just wanted to give some added feedback following up and thinking about it. Just from a Montessori perspective, I don't understand how the kitchen issue hasn't come up, and I'm not a teacher, but what makes these Montessori classrooms structurally? What makes them different from other classrooms? And to me, the thing we're going to lose structurally is the kitchen area and that added space to do the activities that are part of the practical life element of Montessori. So that just feels really important to me, so I just wanted to comment how vital I see being in the classroom 2 to 3 days a week, how vital that is to a Montessori classroom. But also, I just want to say that the feedback I'm getting from the parents that I'm talking to is a very discouraged feeling as Park Road parents, and to come to this meeting tonight not knowing that the land was already taken and that we're losing the land. And I've gotten a lot of feedback on that, people saying it's the people, we're strong, we're magic, it's the community, and that's all true. But I think that any business owner, any family, any cultural group, any anthropologist is going to say land matters, place matters, and names matter. And we're giving up so much. So I think as the parent community, I want to feel CMS saying Montessori matters, in this construction process. And I'm just not seeing it here, and I might be missing it. And I'm new to this as of tonight, so this isn't really a criticism, it's more just a response to this moment.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing.
I'm sorry, so you said the firm is Benesch?
Yes, Alfred Benesch and Company,
They're not-
B-E-N-E-S-C-H.
They're from here?
Yes, their office is over near the VA hospital.
Okay, I was trying to one was out of Chicago, I just want to make sure that.
They're a global firm, but yeah, they're, well, at least national firm.